Hey guys, Coop here. It's going to be a quick little video. My buddy Chuck tagged me on my most sentimental knives. I've got a few knives, and you know, most of my knives are all user knives. I use every one of them for all kinds of different things. Whatever I seem to need a knife for is whatever I grab the knife I'm using for at that time, and that's what I use. I don't look at them as I don't look at all my knives as keepsakes or stuff like that. I don't really collect knives. I use them. They're tools to me. But I do have a few that hold a real special place with me, and I only have a couple that I consider sentimental. The rest of them, they're all just tools. If I lose them, I can always replace them. But I have two, just two, that I hold in very high regards, that come hell or high water, they're not going anywhere. I'm keeping them, you know, till the day I die. I take care of them. I make sure nothing happens to them. And one of them I use constantly, almost on a daily basis. The other one, I really don't use that much. It's mainly because it was an inspirational knife that I built. And I'll just get in and show you the knives I'm talking about, guys. Now, this first one, you guys all know it. It's my good old trusty buck. Sentimental, yeah, very sentimental because, hey, it's a buck 110, classic knife. You can't go wrong with one of these. And this knife was given to me by my parents when I was right around 15 years. I think I was 15 or 16 when I got this knife. And I've had this knife for a long time, you know, 30 years. So, you know, this knife has seen a lot of stuff over the years. And I use this knife almost daily. You know, I cut wire with it, I cut plastic, I cut cardboard, whatever I need cut. This knife has never let me down. It's always been there for me, and it's a good traditional knife. And anybody that knows knives knows buck. Bucks stand, you know, they've stood the stand. Excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied, guys. They've stood the stand of time, or however you want to pronounce it. They've been around a long time, and they're going to continue to be around a long time. It's not because they're any better or worse than other knives. It's because they're pretty much a staple of the United States heritage. I mean, these knives were made by hand by the owner of the company years and years and years ago. He made these knives by hand. And one of the things that got him very popular was he actually made them for servicemen back, I think it was during World War II. From what I read, steel was such a hard commodity come by, and there was a lot of things involved in the war that the government didn't have the means to supply all of our troops with what they needed. And Mr. Buck, he volunteered to make knives for the servicemen. And at the time, he was making these by hand, and he was giving them to the servicemen to take overseas with them to fight during World War II. And that right there is enough. You guys do a Google on it. You know, check it out. It's a pretty interesting story about how this company was founded and the guy who founded it. Anyway, guys, enough about that little history lesson. I might not be right on all the facts, but the majority of it, you guys get to just Google it. You know, it's a pretty interesting story. And now, one knife that I don't use at all, it sits on a shelf, and I look at it every day, is this little guy right here. And this little guy right here is very, very sentimental to me. You guys might all recognize the design. It's one of Super C. Richards, the guy who tagged me for this video. It's one of his, he calls it the Piglet. I've always called it the Teardrop. And he first came out with this design. I saw it, and I liked it so much, I asked him if he was willing to sell one of them when he got them made. And he pretty much told me no, you know, and I was a little bit heartbroken about that, but he said no. He said, I tell you what, Coop, I'm going to send you a blank. And the only thing I ask out of you is you keep us updated, you know, on the progress of making this knife. And at the time I got this blank in the mail, I was pretty much at an all-time low making knives. I was pretty much just going to give it up because I was struggling with it. I wasn't really listening to other people. I thought I knew it all, and I didn't know shit. But he sent me this knife and asked me all he wanted was updates. And so almost every single day I worked on this knife till it was completed, and I uploaded videos on it. And I'm just so happy and pleased and proud with this knife. And the most generous thing I've ever had given to me as far as another individual, and all he asked was just to keep him updated on how it was made. And I'll never forget that. He renewed a passion, you know, that I thought I had lost in making knives. And for that, I'll be eternally grateful. I mean, this is just an absolute wonderful little knife. It's excellent for Skinner utility neck knife. But guys, I'll never use it. It's one of those things I don't ever want to use it because I don't want to mess it up. And to move on with it, I sent it to a mutual friend of ours, MrDeermaster, Ethan, and he made the Kydex sheath for it. Kydex sheath is just outstanding sheath, guys. It's just, his work is unbelievable. And that little knife just fits so perfect in that sheath. It's just unreal. And but those are my two sentimental knives, guys. Is my buck and my little piglet from Super C Richards. And I urge everybody, go over and check out Super C Richards. Chuck, he's an awesome guy. He's got a very kind heart. He's a inspiring knife maker, does it as a hobby, and he does a really good job at it. Just a really all-around awesome, nice guy. Anyway, guys, now he wants us to tag somebody. So I'm going to tag one of my good friends. His name, everybody knows him as Brian. His name is Patrick. He's an awesome guy. His YouTube channel is BPS7 US1. That's right, buddy. I want to see your all-time sentimental knife. Or knives, either one. And the second tag I'm going to send out to another good friend of mine, PintoBlades. Mr. Michael, I'd like to see your most sentimental knife. Whether it's one that's been given to you, one you've made, one that you've bought. I'd like to see your most sentimental knives, my man. Alright, guys. Go over and check out Brian, Patrick. Go over and check out Michael, Pinto. And especially check out Chuck. Awesome guy. Very kind-hearted. And tell them all three Coop sent you. Alright, guys. You'll put your comments, questions down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I appreciate your support. Appreciate you watching my videos. Means a lot to me. You guys all know we got the Facebook page up and going. Link for that will be down below. Go over and hit the like button. If you don't like what you see, you just wasted a couple minutes of your time. And with all that being said, my friends, old Coop's going to say, Coop out.